7 Oscars tonight for actor in a supporting role, actress in a supporting role.
This is changing rapidly, and I fear that our stories are not keeping at pace.
I mean, it doesn't really make any sense, I guess is my main point. Okay, here's my loose understanding of the Oscars and why I have a problem with it. This is me fully saying it doesn't make any sense. Any aspect of it, I don't even know why they're still doing it. First of all, let's get this right out of the gate. What does Best Picture mean? If we're voting on Best Picture, what does that term mean? Are we talking about the most emotional movie? Are we talking about the most groundbreaking movie? Are we talking about the most important movie of 2023 in terms of like, this represents our year? I've talked to multiple people and everyone has a different definition of what that means. All of these movies are at least pretty good, but they're also very good at different things. They don't all line up perfectly with each other. Don't even get me started on the difference between like sound mixing and sound editing. There's so much of it that just doesn't make any sense to anyone, but we're all just going along with it for some reason. I don't get it at all. I mean, I'm an editor, don't get me wrong, but I have no idea what the distinction is between sound editing and sound mixing. Plus, there's all this political stuff going on. I'm not even talking about like, you know, how there's like, oh, woke Hollywood and everything. I mean, literally, the mechanics of voting for the Oscars is just so absurd. There's a rule, apparently, I don't know if this is a change, where documentaries, for one thing, need to have a review in either the LA or the New York Times in order to be nominated, basically. And what's crazy about that whole thing is just, it's the documentary category. Like, you're already an extremely niche category. Why are you gatekeeping really? And there's all these rules with theatrical runs that are just totally, it's totally absurd. It just makes, it just adds a whole bunch of confusing layers to it. And it's always been a mess. Hitchcock never won an Oscar. Kubrick technically won a VFX one, but apparently he just bullied his way into that one. I forget the VFX artist who did it, but he said that apparently it was just 100%. He did all the work and Kubrick bullied his way in, which I could totally see happening because everything we know about Kubrick is that he was kind of an... I think Bergman might have won Best International Feature at some point, but that doesn't really... I don't think that should count. And on top of that, okay, how do you think they vote for Best Picture? I'll give you a hint, it's not by popular vote. It's not, and it's not even by the Electoral College, like that would make, that kind of make sense. It's by this thing called preferential voting. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that, oh, we now need to set up internet polls for non-Academy members to vote on what's the best picture and everything. But okay, here's, the system needs to change. The current system we have is stupid. I just learned this, and I want to make sure I explain it correctly, okay? When it comes to Best Picture, we don't just all say, hey, I think Best Picture is Avatar 2. Like, that's not how it works. We take all the nominees, and we rate them, we put them in order from 1 to 10, or 1 of however many nominees there are, okay? And you put them in order of 1 is the best, 10 is the worst, okay? Then you add up how many of each nominee got placed into the #1 category. Then you take the number of nominees and add 1. Then you take the total number of votes and divide them by that number that you got before, right? The nominees #1, okay? Then you take the nominees that got the lowest votes in first place, redistribute them among the remaining nominees based on what their second favorite choice is, okay? It's an overly complicated system by a voting base that is completely out of touch. Everyone's super old, super white. I don't even mean they're racist. I mean, they just literally do not, they just aren't interested in that sort of stuff. They aren't interested in new things. But anyway, the main issue is this preferential voting system. How it works is the Best Picture could actually be the second or third Best Picture of the year because of the stupid system. It could even be the last, everyone's least favorite, but it just manages to get to this weird zone. And to be honest, I think it's happened a couple of times in the last couple of years. I don't want to be rude and name which ones I think it was, but yeah. So that's basically why I'm not going to or watching the Oscars this year. I voted just because I have friends in the industry. But that's about it. So yeah, death to the Oscars.